Scott, that was a Bloomberg headline. Markets moved on it. Their headline was White House weighs limits on U.S. portfolio flows into China. I want to give you my understanding, which is that this is accurate reporting, that there are conversations going on inside the White House about how to restrict American investment in Chinese companies, particularly ones that are listed here in the U.S. All of this is preliminary. These are early conversations. Nothing's been decided yet, and there's no time frame for a decision. But this discussion includes options up to and including blocking all U.S. investment in Chinese companies. So where that lands is anybody's guess. But, of course, that potentially impacts quite a bit of global capital. So it would be a very large step from the U.S. side. And you can see it in the context of this overall trade battle back and forth between the United States and China, as the U.S. is looking for additional levers of influence to force China to make a decision here beyond just tariffs, which they've come close to maxing out on at this point.
So Josh Brown has something for you, Eamon,
Sure.
Bearing in mind, of course, that this is a Bloomberg headline that Eamon's doing, some deep background reporting on. But what do you have for him?
Well, I just think, look, everyone that watches the show knows that I'm not a fan of trade war and all this stuff. I think this is a situation where they better be very careful about what they're talking about here, because there are trillions of dollars of wealth indexed or benchmarked, even active, benchmarked against the global indices. And this year, MSCI back in March announced a doubling of large caps in their international index, Chinese large caps, from 5 to 10%. And by this November, they can get up as high as 20%. And so China has fought very hard to get the inclusion of their stocks into these indices. And it's something that's looks like it's been in progress all year. And I do think that maybe there'll be opportunities created, but there will be a lot of fear on the part of not just investors, but the people that manage money for them, because they are benchmarked to these indices. Whether they're active or passive doesn't matter. And so I think that this is something that should not be discussed lightly without a really big conversation about the ramifications.
In other words, Eamon, I mean, if they really did something like this, that would be a massive story. It would be a massive story for investors.
Absolutely. And I think that officials inside the White House are aware of just how large those very large numbers are that you just heard from Josh. But the buzzword you hear around this here is investor protection. They see this as an effort to protect American investors from investing in companies that may not live up to some of the scrutiny of U.S. exchanges and the U.S. SEC. So that's the framework that they're approaching this with. Whether they get to an all-out ban or something many steps short of that, still TBD. It's not clear where this is going to land, but all of that's under discussion right now.